All right, let's go ahead and begin. We're going to try a basic print statement. Just make sure we're getting the syntax correct. So let's print out testing output. All right, we're getting a syntax error. It's highlighting the word output, so let's get rid of that real quick. We're still getting an error, name error for testing. That's because the interpreter is thinking that we're referencing a variable called testing. So we actually need to enclose it in quotes, and there we go. We get the correct output. So let's add the word output back. And there we go. So that's exactly what we want. So now we have the syntax set up. Let's ask the user a question. Let's go ahead and ask them to enter their birth year. We'll go ahead and see how that looks. We're getting another error, EOL. That's end of line error. So the interpreter is scanning and not finding the end quote. So we need to make sure that we end the string with an end quote. All right, there we go. Enter your birth year. So to make it look more like a prompt, let's just go ahead and add a colon at the end of that string. All right, that looks really good. Okay, now we can go ahead and accept user input. So we'll create a variable birth year and use the input function to get input from the user. We'll type in the year 1985. All right, and now we can print out the variable birth year, see if it captured it correctly. We're getting another syntax error. We forgot the parentheses, so make sure you never forget those parentheses. There we go, 1985. So we're good. So let's open a new window, and we're going to use this window to store all of our code for our program. So let's go ahead and copy over some of our working code from before. We'll get the print statement for the prompt asking for the birth year, and then the input statement to receive the birth year. And lastly, we're going to get the line to print out the birth year. So let's save our program, and then we can go ahead and run it and see how it's looking so far. So enter your birth year, 1985, and then our program prints out 1985. All right, that's pretty boring though. So let's go ahead and calculate the age instead, and we'll print that out. So we'll say age is equal to 2013, which is the current year as I'm recording this video, and subtract the birth year. So now we can go ahead and print the variable age, and we'll save and run our program from there and see how it's looking now. All right, so enter your birth year, 1985, and we get an error. Okay, a type error, an int and string. Okay, that is because the function input actually returns a string. So we want to cast it into an integer using int function. And we do that because we're subtracting from 2013, which is an integer. So let's make that fix and run it. And we're going to type in 1985, and there we go. We get 28, which is correct. All right, so let's go ahead and expand this a little bit more. So instead of binding it to 2013, we're going to ask the user to enter the current year, and we'll create a variable for that. And instead of subtracting from 2013, we're going to subtract from that current year. This is going to make the program a lot more useful over time. So we'll run our program, enter your birth year, 1985, enter the current year, it happens to be 2013 for me, and 28, so that's correct. Let's add a little bit of context to it now. Instead of just printing out the age, let's actually tell the user that it's their age. So we'll say, your age is, and then print out the age. So let's go ahead and run it and see how it looks. All right, we're getting an invalid syntax. There's not a lot of information. I'm going to run it in the terminal and see if I get a little bit more detail. Nope, same thing. All right, so let's just test the string real quick. There might be something wrong with the string we just added. Nope, looks fine. We know age is fine because we had it earlier. We're probably not combining them correctly. So let's put a comma in between. There we go. That looks fine. So we need to add a comma in between parameters to the print statement. And let's go ahead and get rid of that space while we're at it. It's a little too much. All right, no error so far. Let's go ahead and try it. 1985, 2013. Your age is 28. All right, that looks much better. Let's go ahead and ask one last question to finish off our program. So I'm going to copy over this prompt combo here. And the last question I want to ask the user is to enter their name. So I'm going to add this in here, and then we can save and run the program. And we're going to enter 1985 for birth year, 2013 for current, and I'm going to go with the name Jim. All right, value error, invalid literal for int. Yeah, we're still casting input, and we don't want to do it this time. The name is an actual string, not an integer like the other prompts. All right, 1985, 2013, and we'll stick with Jim. All right, no errors. So let's go ahead and print out Jim. Okay, oh yeah, we missed the capital in Jim. Still wrong. Yeah, we're printing out Jim. That's just the value in the variable name. So we need to go ahead and print name, not Jim. We're still getting an error. I'm missing the parentheses, man. I'm all over the place. Don't forget the parentheses. All right, there we go. It looks good. So we'll copy over this print statement to the last line of our program, and then I'm going to save and run real quick, make sure there were no mistakes. All right. So let's add context to this last print statement. In our case, we want to say Jim is 28. And we'll use the variable so it's dynamic depending on what the user inputs. So let's run it one last time. We'll use 1985, 2013, name Jim. So Jim is 28. Perfect.